Hello, welcome to, I was going to say Cuba Horror, but this is actually not Cuba Horror. I'm actually doing something for our channel from Discord, which is called Absolute Zero's Cooking Skill. So what I'm doing today is making a Polish sausage potato cheesy sauerkraut dish. This is actually my own recipe. I have nothing I'm going to base it off of, except for 3 potatoes, 6 string cheese, full thing of Polish sausage, and then the seasoning I'm using is Himalayan pink salt. Right here. I'm gonna bring it up a little bit. Cajun. Then I'm using roasted garlic herb from Grill Mates. And then chipotle and roasted garlic and paprika. And for the oil for the potatoes, it is going to be sesame seed oil. This is a little bit more of an expensive one, so I would not recommend this. I would use normally vegetable oil, but first video, making sure it looks good and tastes good. So what I'm going to do first, I think to cut the meat first, but no, I won't, because the meat is already pre-cooked. And then sauerkraut. So I'm going to cut up the potatoes. This knife. Sorry, had to figure out what knife I was going to use. I am just making them into basically little potato slices. No more than a quarter of an inch. If smaller possible is better. If possible. And if you're, yes, I'm not peeling the potatoes. That's just to give it a little bit more flavoring. I prefer the peels. I know some people don't. You can take them off if you don't like the peels. I'm just gonna cut up all of the potatoes. I will, the side dish to go with this is a pasta side from Canoa's, which is just the chicken flavored one. So it's just chicken flavored noodles. That's the side dish. As soon as I cut these up, I'm going to put some oil in the pan. You guys will come with me for that part. But I first want to just make sure I cut up all the potato. Make sure you never cut your fingers. So you want to be safe in the kitchen. So. And yes, the potatoes were washed beforehand. I did it I actually made sure I washed these before I even started. The potatoes I'm using are just brown rustic potatoes, so nothing special. Like the cheap potatoes you can get. That's really what these are. Most of the food I'm making right now, I've already had in my house, so except for the Polish sausage and potatoes, because we ended up getting these not that long ago. And that was because we were making a certain meal that we never actually did make. But I think this should be fine. And I'm going to make sure of this. I'll make sure I speed up some of the cutting. Maybe. Depends on how short the video is. It took me like almost 5 minutes to just cut potatoes. So yeah, I will speed up the cutting potatoes. Okay. So you guys are gonna come with me. I'm going to the stove. Yes, I have a little bit of a dirty kitchen, not that much. So I have a gas stove, which is a little bit different than most electric stoves. So I'm gonna put it on medium heat. I don't need this. These two pans I don't need yet. I'm working with this one. And I did forget the oil, so give me 2 seconds. I didn't pause that, did I? No, I did not. So normally, instead of using sesame seed oil, which I'm using, I would have used this instead, which is vegetable oil. Not too much. If you guys can't see, it's not too much oil. I'm going to actually grab the vegetable oil because I do want to mix, because sesame seed oil is just expensive. So about 2 tablespoons. I probably did a tablespoon and a half. So 1 tablespoon sesame seed oil, and I did 1 full tablespoon of vegetable oil. Then grab your spatula and put the potatoes in there. Actually, first light your stove if you have a gas one. And so if you're hearing a little buzzing, that's because I have a fan, which this is a gas stove, so okay. So medium heat. Give me 1 second. I'm going to grab a little container to put the potatoes in. If you're wondering why I didn't have the black container you're going to see in a second, is because this cutting board is really quick. I didn't realize. Hear that sizzle? That means the oil is starting to heat up, and I need to hurry up. So I can lower it down because now the oil is sizzling. Make sure when you do this, make sure your pan is not too small. Okay, so I'm going to put this on low heat with a lid. This is just because I need to cut up a few more things. So I need to now cut up the sausage. Which I will not use the potato knife anymore. The reason behind that isn't, it's more just for my own sake. But I will grab a napkin just to kind of clean this up. This is just to get rid of any of the potato juices. So the only reason I would wash my cutting board is because I did meat first, but since I didn't do meat first, I'm doing meat basically second. I'll actually flip it over for the cheese. But I'm going to cut up the sausage. Reminds me, I'm going to grab that. I'm going to grab this container again that I used to put the potatoes in. Just easier to lift up than this whole cutting board. Just like that, Polish sausage. So it's made with chicken, pork, and beef. And it's called Polish Kielbasa. You saw the name, what was on there. Now I'm going to cut these up. By the way, sauerkraut is put in last. And how much you want to put in is always up to you. These I do about a little bit over a quarter of an inch, but not half an inch. By the way, I need it. Or at least try it as. Because this is really tasty. Okay, so I'm going to put that in there. So the reason I did potatoes first was because the potatoes are the ones that would take the longest to do it. See? Cut up sausage. I'm going to go back to the potatoes. I'm going to mix them up a little bit more. So I can smell them sizzling right now. Make sure they don't get stuck to the bottom of your pan. That I'm actually having a little bit of trouble with. I'm going to have a little bit more oil. I'm giving too much. So I'm going to put it back up off of low. And I'm going to actually switch out the burners. There's a reason behind that for me. That's not the right one. And the reason behind that is not because you have to do it. It's more because of this piece. I need 2 cups of water to at boiling. And the burner I'm using is the fast boiler, so I want to get that as soon as possible. So 2 cups of water or 500 milliliters. And put it in. And then it's just on high to let it boil. So the reason I haven't put the seasoning in is because I actually forgot. That's why. So I'm gonna go back. You're coming with me over to the stove because. Sorry about that. I'm going to do something with potatoes. So I'm going to start adding the seasoning now for the potatoes because potatoes will absorb it the best. And if you're wondering if I put a little too much cayenne, we use a lot of cayenne in this place, so. Cayenne is more of like a staple for us in this here. I'm going to turn it down. Ow. Do watch out for oil splash back, because it does actually hurt. Okay. And I'm going to add the 2. Salt is like the last one I always add just because salt, since some of your seasoning is not needed. If you're wondering why I don't have pepper, is because of these two things I'm adding, is because they're actually pretty high with pepper. See, now it smells really good. To me, you can't smell it. Add oil as needed. I'm pretty sure I didn't put enough in the first place. Okay. I'm going to keep it on low. And now I'm going to come back over here. The reason I haven't added the paprika is because paprika and salt are like 2 last things I want to normally add. So now I'm gonna cut up the cheese. This is the time when I would actually, I'm gonna grab like a damp cloth or damp rag. And the reason behind this isn't because I want to do it, it's actually because it's a safety reason. Even though the sausage is fully cooked, you always want to make sure the board is clean between anything you do with meat and anything else, especially chicken. Okay, yeah, this cheese sticks are just because I actually had them still laying around from like when we made pizza. Yes, we use string cheese for pizza. It was to make stuffed crust. And yes, that is how you make stuffed crust. We'll probably show you. One of us in this channel, for absolute zero, will actually show you how to make pizza. One of us. I don't know who it will be. It probably will be me, just because I like making pizza a lot, and homemade pizza is to kill for. I just got, no, okay, something to do with work, email for, okay, okay, I need it, so doing this all by yourself is kind of tricky, so right now I need to go over the potatoes because they're kind of sizzling. Okay, so you have to make sure it's a lot easier to make sure everything is ready before you start this. So I'm doing this how you would probably almost do it too. Following the instructions and go, oh wait, probably should have done that. And then I have my cat just trying to attack the couch. And for the cheese, this cheese sticks are definitely just optional. So is the potatoes, actually, believe it or not. So normally this dish is just the sausage and the sauerkraut. Normally. But since I wanted to change it up, it's a little bit different. By the way I'm cutting these cheese sticks, do not cut the way I just did. Because then they don't work as planned. The way I'm doing it this way is a lot easier. It's just having them in their rows. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to throw the cheese in at the same time for the sauerkraut. See, what takes the longest time is actually the potatoes. And by the way, a lot of times you would have a smaller cutting board than mine. Mine's just huge. Like, I legitimately just opened this thing out of its package today, so. Then the sauerkraut. I just have a normal sauerkraut thing of Frank's, just a large jar, just because I use enough sauerkraut, it makes sense. Okay, so put this thing in, and then you stir in contact, and stir it for about 7 minutes. So I would normally say, tell Google to give me a timer, but or stir until it's tense. I'm gonna grab all the stuff that's over here, which is just these few items, and paprika and salt. It will be over by me, and you guys will come with me in a second. It's just I need to bring the stuff over here that's needed. Just need the sauerkraut, and then you guys. Okay, you guys are coming with me. Can you see the pans? Yes, you can. So yes, I do have a gas stove, so this is a little bit different on electric. To make sure the potatoes aren't still. So make sure the potatoes aren't make sure they're like soft. I'm gonna make sure. I'm gonna actually probably turn you down. Because okay. So this part is actually microwave. You can do it in the microwave. Just follow the instructions on the back. By the way, these pans are hot. Just so you know. Okay, now I'm gonna add the paprika just because all the other flavors were already added. Give me a second. Just keep watching. Sorry for that little pause. You guys probably won't notice it, but that was gone for like a few minutes. If you can see the clock, yeah, you'll probably notice the time is a little bit different. But that's just because I received a call at night. Turn up the heat a little bit. By the way, this is a lot easier with. So the way I'm doing this right now is definitely on the hard mode. I totally forgot to add butter. Okay, so it is optional. Good. The butter is optional. And the reason I haven't put, you probably watched me put paprika in there, but not salt yet. Really, the reason behind the salt is I'm not really a big fan of salt, so. But I will say the seasoning is always your whatever you prefer. So like I have over $250 worth of seasoning I could have picked from. I just picked the ones that just sounded good. And actually I might switch out this salt to a different kind of salt. Just because of the way I'm doing this. And that will be... give me 2 seconds to find what I'm looking for. Apparently did not find it. Oh. I'm going to use this instead of Himalayan pink salt. Instead of pink salt, I'm going to use garlic salt. This is more like a garlic-based dish, so... Give me a second with the potatoes. pretty sure this is chicken garlic? Chicken flavored with, eating in savory chicken flavored sauce. Okay, so it is. Okay, so with the salt, you don't want to add too much. Okay, now I'm going to add the sausage now. So I've been cooking this for up to like 10 minutes or a little bit, actually probably a little bit longer, I think about 12 minutes now. Sorry, I just want to make sure these noodles are good. So I'm going to okay, I'm going to now throw the sausage in. The cheese and sauerkraut are like legitimately the last things I want to put in. If you're wondering why you put the seasoning in with the potatoes, it's because the potatoes take the longest. Normally you would just mix it in with like butter or oil, whatever you're normally cooking with. And just to let you know, this has no recipe except for I might make one in the in like the description if want. Okay, so this dish is done. This is actually a very quick meal, so it's actually not that surprising that actually. So I'm going to switch this over to the other burner. And if you're wondering why, this burner just burns hotter. And it's also easier. Okay, so I'm going to let it sit for about 2 minutes with a lid on, just to let everything like kind of sizzle together. I'm going to pick up a little bit to clean up my mess. I'm trying to see what else would go good with this dish. I don't think there is anything that's going to go good with this dish. And I realize I don't have any drinks, so she works tomorrow. So alcohol is out of the option for me. Not for me. I don't work tomorrow, so I can drink some alcohol. So I might have some sake with this. Chloe, the other person that's going to eat this, probably will not. Probably just have a soda. But make sure you're at age to drink. You're going to have sake. Okay, I'm going to now add this cheese. I almost said sauerkraut. I forgot I have cheese for this dish. Okay, so I'm going to put it on low heat and let the cheese melt. I'm going to actually grab this. Okay, I just got a message. I just want the heat to let it melt the cheese. I think so. this meal will be eaten in about 20 minutes, so I am going to have this a little bit cold, so I won't be able to tell you exactly how I think of the actual thing. So just make sure you clean up all your stuff when you're done. And then I'm going to make sure, so this cheese is not melted yet, so I'm going to that's good. So chicken flavor fajita things, and I'll show you guys how I'm going to do the plates and everything too. I'm going to use some of my plates I don't normally use just because that's the way I want to do it. And then I'm going to grab cups. I think I'm going to do juice for drinks. Probably either apple or cranberry. That's on our decision, or apple kiwi or apple juice. That's on our decision. I will think probably like kiwi or I think apple would probably be pretty good with this. So the cheese, look, is actually pretty well melted. You can kind of tell. I'm zooming in a little bit. It's actually pretty nice. I'm going to mix this, and apparently one of the cheese. So you can see all the gooiness from the cheese, which I'm actually, the smell of this smells great, by the way. And the nice part about the oil that I put in means it's going to stay. I'm going to put the sauerkraut in, and this is basically how this works. I'm going to leave it on low heat until person that's coming home to eat this with me gets home. Make sure when you do the sauerkraut, make sure there's like as little bit of juice as possible. I'm going to do 3 grabs. Normally it would be, I think, like half a cup of sauerkraut. It's not much sauerkraut, but it depends on the person. Depends on if you want sauerkraut or not. If you like sauerkraut too. So I'm going to mix this together and then put the lid on and let it simmer. Oh my god, this smells great. Okay, then I'm going to put it on low heat and just let it simmer. Normally, at this point, it's ready to be served. But for me, I have somebody I need that's getting it with me, so I want to make sure it's ready for them too. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this part of the cooking channel. And peace out. I'm Cubo Horror, and this is Absolute Zero Cooking Skill.